Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are all doing super fantastic. Can you believe that we only have 9 more days until the end of January and we're going to be moving into February and it's just going to be awesome? This year is already flying by. So, just like every day, for the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about point of view and perspective. So, we're just going to continue that today. Our central question, sorry, my throat's a little dry. Our central question is, how is my point of view different than that of a character or a narrator's in the story? So today, to kick off today, like we do every day, we're going to listen to our vocabulary rap song about point of view. We're going to read The Day the Crayons Quit, which is one of my favorite books. It's about a bunch of crayons that have been mistreated by their owner Duncan, and they all quit on him and write him a letter telling him what he did wrong. So Miss Taylor's going to come over after I finish reading, and she's going to model to you how to write a letter in the perspective of a school supply. And then you're going to get a chance to practice that by yourself today. So let's start with our vocabulary video.
Every story has a narrator, and every narrator has a different point of view. Which point of view is yours? Let's go! Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Hey yo, knock knock, who's there? Narrator, narrator, who gonna tell the story from a point of view? Every story's written in a certain voice. When you're writing, you need to make a choice. First, second, or third person, POV. The first person is all about me, or we, like we climbed the tree. I closed my eyes and I felt the breeze. I might be unreliable if I don't tell the truth. Now let's switch the point of view to you. In the second person, you're in a taxi. You're wondering how you got there exactly. The third person is he or she. He walked down the street and he saw the queen. She was just hip like it wasn't a thing. That's the third person, take it from him. Third person narration could be objective, omniscient, or from a limited perspective. Can the narrator see in everyone's thoughts? Narrating omnisciently like a boss. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. All right now, check your notes. Tell me which POV is in each quote. I was born with water on the brain. That's
First person.
He looked up into Father Wolf's face and laughed. That's third person. We didn't always live on Mango Street. That's first person. Sophie closed her eyes and lay quite still. That's third person. Your feet are now stuck in green slime. That's second person. In the hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. That's third person. It made me so sick I almost fell out of the tree. That's first person. You're thinking this wasn't the way it was supposed to go. That's second person. My name is Katniss Everdeen. I'm 17 years old. That's first person. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV.
All right. So everybody wants to know my POV. I hope the song is stuck in your head as much as it's stuck in my head. All right. So let's start with The Day the Crayons Quit. Remember when we read Two Bad Ants yesterday, we talked about perspective and how the perspective of an ant is so much different than a perspective of a human. If we were talking about literally, everything from the perspective of an ant would be so much bigger. Just like when we looked at pictures in the story, I've got it right here, as a matter of fact. The grass looks humongous. But does grass look huge to us? No, it looks tiny. So we are going to read a book today called The Day the Crayons Quit. Let me turn on my ladybug. The Day the Crayons Quit. And this is a story about crayons who are quitting on a boy named Duncan because he mistreats them. So let's start reading. One day, in class, Duncan went to take out his crayons and he found a stack of letters with his name on them. To Duncan. Hey Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any of the other crayons. All year long, I wear myself out coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that is red. I even work on holidays. I have to color all of Santa, all the Santas at Christmas, and all the hearts on Valentine's Day. I need to rest. Your overworked friend, Red Crayon. Red Crayon doesn't seem too happy. Look at him. He's exhausted. Dear Duncan, all right, listen. I love that I'm your favorite crayon for grapes, dragons, and wizard hats. But it makes me crazy that so much of my gorgeous color goes outside the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the lines, soon I'm going to completely lose it. Your very neat friend, Purple Crayon. He is not happy that he's going outside the lines. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light brown or dark tan because I'm neither. I am beige and I am proud. I am also tired of being second place to Mr. Brown Crayon. It's not fair that Brown gets all the bears, ponies, and puppies, while I only get while the only things I get are turkey dinners, if I'm lucky, and wheat. And let's be honest, when was the last time you saw a kid excited about coloring wheat? Your beige friend, Beige Crayon. He's so sad. So these crayons have an interesting perspective of how Duncan is using them. Duncan, Gray Crayon here. You're killing me. I know you love elephants, and I know that elephants are gray, but that's a lot of space to color in all by myself. And don't even get me started on your rhinos, hippos, and humpback whales. You know how tired I am after handling one of those things? Such big animals. Baby penguins are gray, you know. So are very tiny rocks. Pebbles. How about one of those once in a while to give me a break? Your very tired friend, Gray Crayon. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time, I'm the same color as the page you are using me on, white. If I didn't have a black outline, you wouldn't even know I was there. I'm not even in the rainbow. I'm only used to color snow or to fill in the empty space between other things, and it leaves me feeling, well, empty. We need to talk. Your empty friend, White Crayon. This is a white cat in the snow. And you can't even see that he's there. Dear Duncan, I hate being used to draw the outlines of things that are colored by other colors, all of which think they're brighter than me. It's not fair when you use me to draw a nice beach ball and then fill in the colors of the ball with all the other crayons. How about a black beach ball sometime? Is that too much to ask for? Your friend, Black Crayon. What's a black rainbow? He's pleading. Dear Duncan, As green crayon, I'm writing for two reasons. One is to say that I like my work. Loads of crocodiles, trees, dinosaurs, and frogs. I have no problems and wish to congratulate you on a very successful coloring things green career so far. The second reason I write is for my friends Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayon, who are no longer speaking to each other. Both crayons feel they should be the color of the sun. Please settle this soon because they are driving the rest of us crazy. Your happy friend, Green Crayon. All right, remember when we said that authors often use perspective of different characters to create a problem? So Orange's perspective is that he should be the color of the sun, but Yellow's is too. So now they are arguing. The author created a problem. This one's hard to read. Dear Duncan, Yellow Crayon here. I need you to tell Orange Crayon that I am the color of the sun. I would tell him, but we are no longer speaking, and I can prove that I'm the color of the sun too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color in the sun on your Happy Farm coloring book. In case you had forgotten, it's on page 7. You can't miss me. I'm shining down brilliantly on the field of yellow corn, your pal, and the true color of the sun, Yellow Crayon. Yellow's right. He did use yellow crayon to color the sun on Happy Farm. Orange Crayon is like blah, blah, blah. Dear Duncan, I see Yellow Crayon already talked to you. The big whiner. Anyway, can you please tell Mr. Tattletale that he is not the color of the sun? I would, but we are no longer speaking. We both know that I am clearly the color of the sun because on Thursday you used me to color the sun on both the Monkey Island and the Meet the Zookeeper pages in your Day at the Zoo coloring book. Orange, you glad I'm here? Ha! Your pal. And the real color of the sun, Orange Crayon. He did use orange to color in the sun on those two pages. Dear Duncan, it has been great being your favorite color this past year, and the year before, and the year before that. I've really enjoyed all those oceans, lakes, rivers, raindrops, rain clouds, and clear skies. But the bad news is that I am so short and stubby, I can't even see over the railing in the crayon box anymore. I need a break. Your very stubby friend, Blue Crayon. He uses them so much, he's so tiny. Duncan. Okay, listen here, kid. You have not used me once in the past year. It's because you think I'm a girl's color, isn't it? Speaking of which, please tell your little sister I said thank you for using me to color her Little Princess coloring book. I think she did a fabulous job of staying inside the lines. Now, back to us. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster or cowboy? Goodness knows, they could use a splash of color. Your unused friend, Pink Crayon. Pink Crayon is not happy that he is not being used often. Hey Duncan, it's me, Peach Crayon. Why did you peel off my paper wrapping? Now I'm naked and too embarrassed to leave the crayon box. I don't even have on any underwear. How would you like to go to school naked? I need some clothes. Help. Your naked friend, Peach Crayon. Well, poor Duncan just wanted to color, and of course he wanted his crayons to be happy, and that gave him an idea. When Duncan showed his teacher his new picture, she gave him an A for coloring. He chose to listen to every single thing that the crayons asked him to do. I wonder if Beige got any clothes. And an A plus for creativity. All right, So this is one of my favorite books to read when we talk about point of view because it really makes you think about how we treat our school supplies. So for today's assignment, you are going to be writing a letter to Duncan from the perspective of a school supply. And Miss Taylor is going to come in and she is going to model how to write a letter from the perspective of a school supply. I think she said she was going to use the pencil. So listen to what she says, and then you are going to do this later. When you go into Canvas, you're going to click your homeroom. You'll go to reading. You'll click Friday, but for the video, I'm going to click modules. You're going to scroll all the way down to the very, 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 very bottom. And it's going to say, Dear Duncan. That's what you'll click. It says click the gray box below to access today's assignment. After watching the video and listening to the read aloud, you are going to have a chance to write a letter to Duncan from the perspective of any school supply that you choose. Miss Taylor modeled it in this video. Write to Duncan in complete sentences from the perspective of a school supply and complain about how bad he's been treating you. After you finish writing your letter, I gotta change that. Please make sure to press the blue submit button so your teacher can read and grade it. We are super excited to see how creative you guys are gonna be. So when you click it, oh no. All right, I think I have fixed it. So when you click it, it is gonna take you to your assignment that looks like this. The directions say, write a letter to Duncan from the perspective of a school supply. What might the school supply say to Duncan? You're going to click in this box and type, and then you're going to come to the very bottom and put your first and last name. After you're finished, you're just going to push submit, and your teacher will be able to grade it for you. Now, stay tuned for the video, and Miss Taylor will appear right about now.
Hey boys and girls, Miss Taylor here. So you just listened to the story, The Day the Crayons Quit with Mr. Cavender. You know, that was the first time I've actually heard this story was last year, and it is pretty awesome because I love listening to the crayons' point of view on why they get used or don't used. I'm a type of person where I think things like crayons and desks and chairs, I kind of like personification. I always think they have an opinion on things. Like when I'm using something and I'm like, oh, I didn't use this one over here. Let me go use this one so it has the same amount of time of being used. I'm a weirdo like that. But I love stories like this because that's how my brain works. Well, I am going to complete an assignment today on the perspective of a pencil. That is one of, in my opinion, one of the most overused school supply items in the classroom. And so I am going to do like the story, The Day the Crayons Quit, and I'm going to write a letter to Duncan about why we should, or how the pencil feels about being used all the time in the classroom. So we have our greeting, Dear Duncan, enter. Dear Duncan, I'm going to say, in my opinion, I feel I am the most used school supply by students. I am the amazing pencil. I get used almost every day, all day, period. I get chewed on, grinded to a nub, and students bang me on their desk until my head is shaking, period. My tip is never sharp, period. It seems to get dull so often that I will break, period. So let me read what I have so far. Dear Duncan, in my opinion, and see, before I did this, I took notes of what I think pencils would think or would feel. I didn't just start typing like it looked like I did. I actually took notes and then I looked at what I wrote in like bullet forms and tried to visualize it in a letter form. And that's when I started typing. And now I'm going to reread it to see if it makes sense, like we would expect you to before you submit an assignment. Dear Duncan, in my opinion, because it's my point of view as the pencil, I feel I am the most used school supply by students. And I'm going to say I am the most overused school supply by students. I am the amazing pencil. I get used almost every day, all day. I get chewed on, grinded to a nub, and students bang me on their desk until my head is shaking. My tip is never sharp. It seems to get dull so often that I will break. I really do like being so popular, comma, but I really wish I could have a break during they do have breaks. So let's just say I really wish I could have a few days during the week that kids use other writing utensils. Not like a utensil that you eat with, like a fork and a spoon and a knife, a utensil that I'm using. So I really wish I could have a few days during the week that kids used other writing utensils. Signed, I said, your overly worked pencil. All right, I don't have to put a period. So that's my closing. Now I think I'm finished. I want to go back again and reread it before I submit, because remember, what you submit is what we are grading, and you want that to be 100%. So I'm going to read it out loud, because that's how we hear our errors or our mistakes, is when you read it out loud versus reading it in your head. Because when you read it in your head, your head tends to correct it and you don't realize it. But when you say it out loud, then you can hear the mistakes. So that's what you should do with any type of reading or writing assignment, is read it out loud first before you think you're finished. So, dear Duncan, in my opinion, I feel I am the most overused supply by students. I am the amazing pencil. I get used almost every day, all day. I get chewed on, grinded to a nub, and students bang me on their desk until my head is shaking. My tip is never sharp. It seems to get dull so often that I will break. I really do like being so popular, but I really wish I could have a few days during the week that kids used other writing utensils. Signed, your overly worked pencil. So when I wrote this, I think the pencil feels he likes to be used. I think he feels students need to be a little bit more gentle with him, because we sit there and we bang it. We're not really thinking about what we're doing. Well, that banging might actually hurt the pencil. So think about that. I mean, imagine your head constantly banging on a desk. It would start hurting. We do use it so much that it just keeps getting duller and duller, which means the opposite of sharp. And then therefore, because it's getting dull, we have to sharpen it. And when we keep sharpening it, it gets to that little nub, which is that little tiny pencil. And then what do we do with those? We throw them away. Well, that hurts my feelings. I'm having to throw a pencil away because it got down to a nub. But again, that's why he's so popular. And he likes being popular, just maybe not used quite so often. All right, so I hope you enjoyed my letter to Duncan as a pencil. And you have a wonderful rest of the day. All right, friends. I'm trying to figure out how to stop. Oh, stop recording.